Hi, Professor Pride here at the Pottsville Pride Festival 2021 with Senate candidate and House of Representatives member of the Pennsylvania House, Malcolm Kenyatta. Thank you so much for being here.
I'm so happy to be here, and it really has been really hot, and so it's a little rain, but Lord knows we need it.
We did need it.
We do.
Now, with your Senate election coming up, kind of like, what are you doing right now in the House for the LGBTQ community specifically, and what are you planning on doing in the Senate once you get there?
Yeah, you know, I have some people who say, you know, wow, there are now 3 of us, myself, Representative Sins, Representative Benham, 3 openly LGBTQ members, and sometimes people celebrate that, but I think that is really, it's not a good statistic. It's a sad statistic that we don't have nearly enough representation, people who understand in their bones and who are directly impacted by what we do or don't do in Harrisburg. In Harrisburg, we still haven't passed the Pennsylvania Fairness Act, of which I'm a sponsor, which would provide for non-discrimination protections across Pennsylvania. I have a bill called Data for LGBTQ Lives that anytime you go and fill out a form that asks for demographic information, that people can also voluntarily put down their sexual orientation and gender identity to make sure that our community is being tracked. Because when we talk about lack of resources for housing for LGBTQ youth, when we talk about non-discrimination, which I mentioned, we also need to know how many people are we disenfranchising across Pennsylvania who are being treated unfairly simply because of who they are and who they love.
Now, you mentioned the data part of that. With the entire pandemic that just is now sort of getting over. There's hope.
Get vaccinated, please.
There's still a lot of Pennsylvania not vaccinated, but with that, I heard that part of that program is to get data on the pandemic and see how it affected the LGBTQ.
So that's one of the things myself and other members of the LGBTQ Commission said to the governor. They started tracking at the height of the pandemic where we were seeing the most infections. And one of the things that we know is that the LGBTQ community has a lot of comorbidities that made the pandemic worse for us. Higher rates of smoking, folks who have lower levels of income, who were being impacted from an infection level higher, but also have found some of the highest lack of accessibility to the vaccine in the beginning. We're getting so much better on those numbers in terms of Pennsylvanians who have access to the vaccine, but we know that there's still a lot of work to do, particularly a lot of work to do with low-income LGBTQ folks.
And is there any certain part of the state that you see that more affecting than others?
Unfortunately, we're in a position right now where every single part of our state are seeing a number of people who have not yet gotten vaccinated. And what it's going to take is people like you who have platforms that people listen to and respect, but other people speaking to their friends, speaking to their families, talking about the need to get vaccinated from this really, really cruel virus.
Now, with the PA Fairness Act, and we often combine it with the conversion therapy ban in Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
That's something that's been held up again and again, just like the Fairness Act. Now, with that, we have so many conversion therapy camps in Pennsylvania right now active and still pushing kids to suicide. So what do we do about that? Where's that bill at, and how do we go from there?
You know, I serve on the Governor's Suicide Prevention Task Force, and one of the things that we know is that the numbers are double for LGBTQ kids who have attempted suicide or struggled with suicidal ideations. And I don't even call it conversion. I don't use the therapy word next to it. It's conversion abuse. It is abuse. All the folks who are actual therapists and mental health care providers, there is no therapeutic part of the abuse that we see. What it does is tell kids who are maybe in places where they don't have folks who love them and care about them just as they are, telling them that they should feel bad about who they are, and doing things that are super harmful, and to your point, increasing those numbers around suicidal ideations, which is incredibly tragic. I have been one of the first co-sponsors on the conversion abuse ban bill as well, and we need to get it done. Part of what it's going to take, I believe, is just getting these bills a vote. It's not like we've had the bills come up and they've been voted down. Yeah. They refuse to give us a vote. And that is so unfair when you think about all the young people who deserve to have a government that sees them, that respects them, and isn't comfortable with them being abused.
Now, when we talk about the government seeing you, possibly you and I as gay men, we face discrimination out in the world, but quite possibly no one faces more discrimination than the trans community. Now, the Pennsylvania House and Senate both decided this year they're going to enact all these bills about trans bathroom bills and so on and so forth. Now, what's your opinions on that, and how can we stop those devastating bills from making it?
You know, so the good news is that those bills haven't come up for a vote either. It was banning trans kids from bathrooms, banning trans kids from playing sports. And as I've gone around talking to young kids who are transitioning into their families, it is nothing wrong with those kids, but it's everything wrong with grown adults who make it their business to be hateful and harmful to little kids who just want to be treated like everybody else. And so we're going to do what we've always done as a community. Speak up, speak out, and push back against that nonsense. It really is garbage. And I hope every single trans kid who watches this knows that they are perfect, that they are loved, and that there's so many people in their community who do care about them, that there is a place and a space for them to be seen, to be protected, to be exactly who they are. And that's why, you know, it is so important. As I run this campaign as the, you know, one of very few openly gay people to run in American history. If elected, I'll be the first openly gay man ever in the U.S. Senate. As I said in my remarks, one of only 3 openly gay members to ever be elected to the Pennsylvania House. It is so difficult for people to be something they can't see. And when we step up, when we do events like this, it allows people to know they're not alone, and that I promise, I know it has become such a thing where it'll get better, but Lord knows it will.
Now, with going on that point, one of the ways we can combat that is, I mean, we see it all the time in our comment section of 50,000 people online, where these kids desperately want the education, and it's not in their schools. And so I feel like a lot of this can be solved through that education. What can we do to get this education in every school in America mandatory? Not just with LGBTQ stuff, but certainly on your side of things with Black Lives Matter too.
So I think a part of what we have to recognize is that when people are treated fairly, that impacts all of us. That impacts every single one of us. When there's any part of our community that is treated unfairly because of any perceived difference, that diminishes all of us. We have to have schools, we have to have a government, we have to have communities that reflect the fullness of the American experience. And so that means a curriculum that includes LGBTQ history, that includes age-appropriate sex ed, that includes things in the curriculum that deal with bullying. We have to have that. I'm also the prime sponsor of a bill called Phillips Law that would reimagine the way we provide mental health care to our kids in the school after the tragic death by suicide of an 11-year-old in my district who's being bullied for his weight, being bullied because he was perceived to be gay. His brother was perceived to be gay. And, you know, when little Phil died, I said to his family, we're going to do everything to make sure not only is little Phil not forgotten, but that all the other little Phils who are in school right now, who are being bullied, who are being treated unfairly, who don't see themselves on TV, don't see themselves in government, don't see themselves in their teachers, that they get the type of support from a mental health perspective that they deserve in their schools and deserve in their community.
You mentioned your district. Where is your district?
So if people know Temple University, then they know the heart of my district.
Okay. And if people want to get involved with your campaign or help you in any way or like your pages, where can they find you at?
So it's Malcolm Kenyatta, and Kenyatta is Kenyatta. Literally, it's Malcolm Kenyatta on everything. That's the website, that's Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, all the things. Find me. We are going all across the Commonwealth talking about what it means to have working people, to have marginalized people, not just to have a spokesperson for our issues, but to actually be in the room where big things are being made. And we as LGBTQ folks deserve LGBTQ representation in the United States Senate. We currently don't have it beyond 2 members out of 100. We can do better than 2 out of 100.
Well, thank you so much for being here and
thank you so
for showing
much.
your support. As a proud gay man and a platform like this, I'm sure all of our kids out there watching want to thank you from the bottom of our hearts for being here and for showing your support. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
And now back to the amazing event. Powered by Rainbows is an LGBTQIA+ education channel, bringing you history, health, literature, science, and general education courses every single week. We offer coming out advice, furry positivity, documentaries, interviews with experts, and highly researched courses, perfect for your classrooms, gay-straight alliance clubs, and for those at home looking for education their schools purposefully leave out of their classrooms. Join us every week for new episodes, and check out the hundreds of episodes we've already broadcast here on youtube.com/powered by rainbows. Don't forget to follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and TikTok. And be sure to join our LGBTQ-friendly Discord server for a 24/7 chat room where you can make new friends and get advice from hundreds of other LGBTQ kids just like you. All of those links are in the description down below. As always, I'm your host, Professor Pride. Be sure to like this broadcast, comment down below your LGBTQ-friendly thoughts, hit that rainbow subscribe button so you don't miss out on new weekly episodes of our show, and share this video with others. Now please enjoy this live broadcast from Pottsville Pride 2021.
Bloopers!
Sorry.
Do it again. All right.
3, 2, 1. Hi, Professor Pride here at the Pottsville Pride Festival 2021 with Senate candidate and Representative of Pennsylvania, Malcolm Kenyatta. Thank you so much for being here.
I'm so happy to be here. I'm so happy to be with you. And it's been hot, really hot, and so we're getting a little rain, which is desperately needed.
Exactly. Now,
I moved that whole set of speakers in. So you just need it. I'm just right in front of the camera.
okay.
So if you want to run your sound wire to it.
Yeah. I'm just gonna cut until we're done this. Sorry. Anyway, this is my job, honey.
That's right.
This is his first day seeing me. So, 3, 2, 1.